team that's not that far off that I've been disappointed in actually is the Los Angeles Clippers. I feel like that is not getting speaked about as much as like the Warriors or like the Heat. Like I feel like the Clippers have just been like underneath, like nobody's really been like talking about like it. Because if you look at it, this team has all the talents it has. They gave away so much to get Paul George to come with Kawhi Leonard, and we have nothing to show for it. And I feel like, although last year that Kawhi was hurt, Paul George was in and out the lineup, the Clippers did not make the playoff. We understood injuries play a role in the season, all this, that, and the fourth. But now you have everybody healthy. You had new acquisitions within Norman Powell, Robert Covington, all these guys here. You have a stacked team from top to bottom. John Wall came in. We're thinking we're going to get an electrifying Clippers team, a team that's supposed to make amends for losing in the conference finals against the Suns with Kawhi being out. But I feel like we haven't seen it this week. I feel like they've been playing shaky basketball thus far. Um, sometimes we'll get Kawhi Leonard in the lineup. Sometimes we'll get Paul George in the lineup. I just feel like it just hasn't like been what we thought. I had them second in the East. I had them going in, not me, my fault, second in the West. Had them going into the conference finals, but I don't even know if they even have the potential to make it to the conference finals with the way that they've been playing. So I feel like that's just been the biggest disappointment to me. I definitely want to see them pick it back up because when Kawhi Leonard is healthy, we all know he's a top 5 talent in the league. Paul George is not that far off as well when he's playing ball. John Wall got to get his feet together. There's something that has to be done within that locker room to really get them playing real like playoff level basketball.
Right. I just want to say something real quick. And I don't feel I'm really jumping the gun, but I feel it's been like at least 2-3 years since that trade went down. Since they pulled it off for Shea Gilgeous Alexander, and then they you know signed Kawhi Leonard. But I think this whole experiment has just been a failure. If we're just gonna give it a grade, it's been a failure. This team has not made it to the NBA Finals, and we always talk about Kawhi Leonard being a top 5 player when healthy. We all know what Paul George can do. We know Tyronn Lue is a championship coach, but this thing just has not worked. This team just can't stay healthy. Paul George is always in and out of the lineup. Kawhi Leonard is always in and out of the lineup. Tyronn Lue never knows who he's gonna have in his lineup. I just read it today. John Wall's about to be out for 2 weeks. This team has no type of consistency. And I feel like this is why they might just lose in the playing game. I feel they'll be just good enough to make the play in because they do have a deep roster, but it's like they just have no continuity. And I think after the season, you have to look just to break this thing up. It's just not worth the money. It's not worth the stress, and I'm not really understanding what's going on with the Clippers. It doesn't make any type of sense to me. I don't care if Kawhi Leonard has played well over his last 3 games. I don't really care because I need to see it for a season. I'm not going to be hyped over 3 games. This Clippers thing is a disaster, and I would just hate to be in the middle of it, to be honest with you.
I wouldn't jump the gun too much because they definitely are like 22 and like 20, and they're fifth in the conference. So it's not like they're having a terrible season. They're definitely having a 500 season. It's just a matter of
With Kawhi
like
Leonard and Paul George.
like you said, you feel me, a matter of who's in the lineup or who's not, and having a steady rotation. As of right now, I know like Terrence Mann is like the starting point guard right now. They really don't know. They've been trying out too many different things and like
I feel
too
like
many
that's a problem as well too.
on like
I don't
Ty.
think that will be done.
But they figure out how to win certain games somehow, some way.
Hmm.
Um, um, Credits to them, but as of recently, yeah, they've been losing about like I think they had like a streak of like 6 games in a row that they lost. So yeah, as of right now, it definitely gives off like red flags, but I'm not too concerned too much. I definitely just want to see how the end of this year ends up. I feel like they also, with all those pieces and all that, I feel like a trade might be necessary for them, because you have too much people you don't know how to manage. So just kind of offsetting that and trying to get a trade for someone who kind of fits a system for yourself because you have too many wings and don't know what to do with them. Might as well just trade them. So I feel like I feel like they're just a couple moves away, to be honest.
So, in your opinion, do you keep
Hold,
this going?
hold,
Out.
hold, hold on, sir. Hold on, sir. Hold on, sir. Hold on, sir. What do you mean you're not concerned? What have they shown you over this last since this? thing has went down when they made the trade and made the signing, what have they shown you to where you're just not concerned? What have they done for you?
because they're the fifth seed. It they're not. It's not okay. We was just talking about the Heat and how I had them projected 4-7, and then it wasn't a
The
big
Heat
deal.
doesn't have two. The
But
Heat does not have Kawhi Leonard
let
and
me
Paul
let me
George. The
finish my
Heat does not
statement.
have Kawhi Leonard and Paul
But
George. But don't say things that's ridiculous. They don't have the same type of
it's not
roster.
ridiculous
The
if you let
rosters
it's not
are not the same. Why are
if
we
you let me
comparing them when the rosters
finish,
aren't the same?
Jackson, it
The
wouldn't
rosters
sound
aren't the same, so I don't know
ridiculous.
why you're bringing up the Miami Heat when the rosters just aren't the same at all.
All right, like I said, you feel me? We talking about like the Clippers having a disappointing season. You feel me? Projected like 1 or 2, and now they're a fifth seed. It's not that much of a disappointment too much because it's like, okay, you feel me? But like I said, I'm not concerned too much because, like I said, everybody's been in and out the lineup. You don't have a real trajectory on the group together. So the group together hasn't been playing, and yeah, I'm not really too concerned. They're still the fifth seed. It's not too like late for them to get to like a third seed. So I'm
All
not too
right.
concerned.
Yeah, so two things I wanna ask you. One, you don't feel like the inconsistency of the lineups is gonna come back to bite them in the playoffs? Because if you look at it, teams need to build chemistry so they know what to do and where to be on the floor at all times, especially during playoffs runs where the deeper you go in the playoff run, the more that you need to rely on just your role players and your star players too. So I believe that me and personally, I believe that the unfamiliarity of not having a healthy squad to run with for at least a good amount of games will definitely come back to bite them in your back. But I want to see how you feel about it.
Yeah, like I said, you feel me? I definitely understand the like I said, is that's really more so why they are the fifth seed because the inconsistencies in the lineups. But like going forward, you feel me? Yeah, you have like John Wall out for 2 weeks, but like I said, like those are role players, the only ones that been kind of playing, and they really haven't found their footing because they're put in like these like kind of bigger roles more so. So it's more so but somehow they do find ways to win. I can't give them the credit. Like they do find ways to win somehow, some way. So and like you feel me, Kawhi Leonard looked good as of late. If he can stay healthy and consecutively play games and stuff, I feel like they'll stay afloat. They'll do enough to stay afloat. But I wouldn't say they'll be like a disappointment like playing game type thing.
Not a disappointment. This
Not
team was
like a
projected to finish first or second, and when they did all that trade for Paul George. They gave up a boatload of draft picks and Shea Gilgeous, who's currently, I seen a stat that he's played more games than both of them combined, have more points both of them combined. The man is averaging 30. That's a young talent that they could have had on this team moving forward, and for who knows how long now. So all that comes into accountability. All you have to show for it is going to one conference final. The year before that, you sold the 3-1 lead to get to the conference finals, where they were supposed to meet against LA Lakers and to show who ran LA.
disappointment.
Then to top that off, not even that. Last year you had Paul George, you still didn't even make the play-in. So I feel like this year, as a fifth seed, is not gonna cut it. Like this year is not gonna cut it at all. So you can say that there's not like, you're not concerned, but there has to be some type of concern, some type of accountability being held upon these players and upon that franchise itself. Because they did all this talking smack like we run LA. John Wall was earlier like we know who runs LA, but yet you guys are not showing it because without no championship, without nothing, you have nothing to back up what you're saying. And Steve
Hmm.
Ballmer went all in on this LA team, on this Clippers team, and we have not seen nothing. So this is what I wanted to get into. The trade deadline's approaching, correct?
Hmm.
For this Clippers team, you said give up wings. But what do you feel like this team needs in return in order to really, you know, boost themselves up a little more before heading to the playoffs?
Inside presence and definitely a power forward. Marcus Morris can't cut it no more. I feel like he definitely needs to be traded. Reggie Jackson, Bolt needs to go. I feel Reggie Jackson's been terrible. I feel like Terrence Mann can stay. I feel Robert Covington could stay, but definitely I would feel they need like definitely another wing, probably like someone like a Kuzma. That's kind of a better shooter, a better scorer to get his own basket and everything. To just get rid of Marcus Morris because and Nicholas Batum, those two kind of been like really unpredictable, and like when you need Marcus Morris to play a certain way, he can't play that certain way. And then Reggie Jackson just kind of at that point guard role was just kind of confusing to me. So I definitely feel like those two ships need to be sailed.
All right, Justin, for you, I know you don't fuck with the Clippers. You know it's big Lakers over there for you. But just being an insight you've seen what the Clippers are right now. What do you think a trade? What do you think they need to do in a trade scenario before the trade deadline comes up?
Nothing. Like, I mean, like trade who? Like the team is one of the deepest rosters in the NBA. What do you like? What insight they have? The kid Zubac down low. What do you like? What else more do you need? I feel personally the team is set. The problem with the Clippers, like we just spoke about, is that they do not play enough games, and I do not understand why. Anthony Davis has played more than both of them, and we make fun of Anthony Davis all the time. He's played more than both of them. You just like you said earlier, you make the trade for Shea. I mean, giving Shea away. He's been just better than the both of them. It just does not make sense. I just don't understand it. So a trade to get Kuz. I don't see how Kuzma changes the course of this team now. They need accountability and just to play like they can't just be in and out of the lineup this much. It's just ridiculous. And I'm not just gonna say just this season to try to just say, oh, it's just this has been since they've pulled off this whole thing. It's always an excuse. It just always can't be an excuse. You gotta have accountability. And if you see that you got a product and it's just not working out for whatever reason, health, whatever you want to talk about, you eventually have to find a way to get just to at least just blow it up then to me, like, because it's just not worth the hassle. Like, you just got to go into a different direction if you see that direction. But then just a minor trade like picking up a Kuzma or something, I don't feel that really does anything. Like, if because you have the team. If this is not what it's gonna be with Kawhi and Paul George is leading the front, then you just might as well just restart the whole thing. I don't see a little one trait here, one trait there that's gonna change the course of the team. I just don't see it like that to me.
I agree with you on that. I definitely agree with you on that point as well.